Mr. Chairman and distinguished panelists and delegates. Second day of the seminar, post-lunch scenario is as expected on a theme very relevant, but that's what's going to happen to the theme. Now, when I joined IIT Delhi in 1968 as a lecturer, the first conference I attended was through Textile Association of India, and theme was academic industry interaction. 47 years later, in fact, and these conferences are held every year religiously. We speak similar things, wait for the next year, and I thought that if this is way, it brings two things. The issue is too important to be forgotten, so it keeps on cropping every year, and the problem is far from being fixed, that's why it still surfaces itself. And therefore, if we continue to show similar trends, talking at each other rather than talking to each other, unless we find common goal, which is sincere, which is relevant to both of them, I'm afraid next 40 years would continue the same way. And the very fact that what you have seen in in fact the presentation, with all the respect to AICTE CII survey here, out of 8,000 institutions which give degrees in engineering, if there are 37 that are site visited, 24 of them got rewarded. Now this, of course, it cannot be a standalone approach to enrich the interaction. This can be one of the incidentals, and I'm sure that perhaps the last year you had more responses than this year. I mean, marginally, which would mean that perhaps it reached the saturation level. Perhaps we need to address, and of course, I went through the last year's report, and I found that at 40% and 40 marks in number, you are green, and a red is a 10. Now, 10 for red, that means 1/4 of the green. My understanding is that the ratio of the best is towards 2:1, and if 40 is your green, red should have been 20 or below. But I am afraid if 20 or below were your red, most of them would be in the red, but that's a fact. Today, the fact remains that the academic interaction with industry is absolutely awesome, terribly worrisome, and it remains so, as I said, the last 47 years I've been saying. So, reason is very simple. Industry, and therefore a fundamental mindset change is needed. That's why I'm introducing something, because if we continue to debate similarly, same thing would continue to happen. So it's time to think out the box. And therefore I give some, really we need to reverse our thinking. Right now, the fact remains that industry looks at these institutions, and since 95% of them are from the private sector, which indeed is anyway not to be admired by the society, and it's a very, very peculiar society when 90% of the students come from that sector, and yet that sector is yet to become respectable in the eyes of people. Same person, if the moment he joins a private sector, he becomes a very totally different person. The mindset change is needed. So what is required? Right now, industry looks at these institutions with three kinds of reactions: allergic, indifferent, or reactive. Allergic is, no, I don't know, there's so many of them, I don't have time to look at them. No internship, nothing. Okay, allergic. Second is indifferent. Okay, so many I can't do. And reactive, okay, I can take your students. There are companies charging people in institutions for their internship. Now, this is where I need to address. Industry should recognize that the biggest stakeholder, I'm saying the biggest stakeholder in the entire technical and management education system is the industry. And the answer is very simple. Because much of it is in the private sector, the owners perhaps are not a real stakeholder, because perhaps the return on investment comes within a couple of years. And the real estate value escalation is so high that there's never a losing proposition even if they close down. Faculty are not at all a stakeholder, because most of them are appointed on an 11-month tenure, not the best one of them by choice joining there, and therefore their heart is not in the job that they are doing. Parents perhaps wake up only when the boy doesn't get a job or commit suicide or do something crooked. Students are the real victims of the situation. So who is the stakeholder? Industry. And therefore the biggest stakeholder I'm saying is industry, because if they continue to remain allergic, indifferent, or reactive, they are going to actually defeating themselves. Because to me, the moment industry looks at these academic institutions as the nursery of their future talent pool, the entire mindset would change. If you look at these institutions as the nursery of a future talent pool, if you do not nurture these institutions, you are doing it at your peril, because if the cost of low employability is going to be so heavy to industry, that indeed they themselves would not become competitive and perhaps would be winding up. So it's high time industry looks at this relationship not from a myopic angle, but from a long-term relationship, and therefore you have to find a common goal. To me, the common goal is employability. It is only when we maximize the employability of the graduates who come to study with you, it's good for the institution, it's good for industry, because only employability as a shared objective, as a shared goal, which is good for, and only a win-win proposition would work it out. Because if you look at the opportunity cost of poor employability to industry, suppose you say, okay, we'll pick up the best. So that's why I say there are some companies who come to campus say, only on day one I'll come. If you don't give me slot on day one, I'm not going to come. As if what happens to the remaining days? Therefore, it is because they thought that only the cream would be picked up from day one. So if you only believe in picking up the cream, by implication in the long term, you're putting an end to your growth profile. If you look at the opportunity cost of that low employability, because you would say, I'll pick up the best because I can afford to pick up the best, you're actually putting a cap on your expansion plans, your growth. You say, okay, I'll pick up whatever is available, but I'll train them. Look at the opportunity cost of training and the substandard performance that takes place during training, and you have to pay during training. The opportunity cost of that low employability is very phenomenal. Only thing is the industries have not figured it out. Third is, okay, I'll pick up whosoever is available and let them work at substandard performance. Obviously, you'll be out of business if you continue to live with substandard performance in a highly competitive, globally competitive. Fourth is, okay, I can go global. I'll pick up the best available talent from wherever. The best of American would not come to India at Indian salary. And therefore, the amount of all the advantage that you have in Make in India would be lost if you're able to count that only your talent would come from somewhere else. And therefore, the last option is be proactive. I'm saying not be proactive and do hand holding. Even if the industry institution don't call you because they may not have interest in calling you, you say, my future lies there. Only for four years you are in your custody. The rest of my future depends on, say, total mindset change of the industry, because your future resides there. Because look at those institutions at the nurture your future talent pool. Don't let the institutions do what they are doing with it. So be proactive, go uninvited, support, help, both in strategic, tactical and operational level, so that if you do that, and in fact I have shown it through the cost of quality model, TQM, the opportunity cost of tolerating low employability in the company, in the institutions to the company is enormous. They are not factored it, and the moment you look at, and therefore if a shared goal is let maximizing jointly co-create academic and industry together co-create, maximize employability of the graduates. It will be good for the institution, it will be good for the companies, and therefore they should realize that simply remaining aloof or reactive is not going to be adequate. Both be proactive. And therefore, my advice to AICT and CIS survey would be, don't conduct these surveys on academic institutions. Start giving awards to the industries for being proactive in doing hand-holding. Because it's only by being proactive, and yesterday, in fact, one of the panelists, and I like the idea, says, he was proactive saying, a faculty member can come and have internship with me for 6 months, and at quid pro quo, I will hire those students. This kind of proactive approach is what industry must be doing, and therefore, unless industry becomes proactive in hand-holding, and whichever way, at a strategic level, if you're a good, great company, quality-driven, start your own company, your institution. Strategic, tactical, and operational level, and therefore, at every level, imagine that only by having a greater employability as an outcome of this interaction, it will be win-win for both, and unless you have a shared goal which is win-win for both, this relationship is unlikely to be stable. So it's high time that we reverse the entire thought process, and instead of begging the industry to come and hire our students, train them, you better tell them if you're ignoring us, you're doing it at your cost, because talent crunch is going to be the biggest problem as a stumbling block in giving you global competitive advantage. At the moment you look at it from a totally different perspective, you will find solutions would come. Thank you very much.